Why does it feel distasteful and unsettling when a character is race-swapped or gender-swapped?
Aha! All right, let me see. Let me see.
Any idea what this is?
Is it wrong not to support it? And we have to ask ourselves the difficult question: am I a racist if it makes me feel uneasy or upset? Does that make me a bad person? It is without a doubt that there will be a loud group of racists opposed to the blackening of white characters. We can't get around that. And as much as we would like to believe that we have solved the racism issue by canceling everyone who once went to a Halloween party 30 years ago dressed as Mr. T or tweeted something mildly homophobic in 2013, we have to admit that we haven't actually solved anything, and that there are still hordes of actual racists in the real world.
Guest list for an annual hate conference at a state park right here in Middle Tennessee.
Thomas Rousseau, he's the leader of the Patriot Front, the white nationalist group known for its splash protests, as well as its training of young men for battle. They want an America for whites only. Eric Orwell, the Arkansas man who heads Return to the Land, the group that wants to build a whites-only community in Tennessee. Greg Johnson, author of the White Nationalist Manifesto. David Zuddy defended the neo-Nazi who drove into a crowd of protesters in Charlottesville. Zuddy tweeted, quote, "James Fields is a hero. This man from Atlanta is Jared Huggins, and he was once part of a neo-Nazi group called Identity Europa, a Pennsylvania man who heads a publishing house that reprints Nazi and other far-right books. And this young man from East Tennessee wearing a cap for the National Alliance. National Alliance is a group originally founded by neo-Nazi William Pierce, helped inspire Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh. Guy Dano have expressed admiration for violent white supremacists Robert J. Matthews and Fraser Glenn Miller. One Telegram post stated, quote, "For me at least, if our goals aren't met in my lifetime, I will pull a page out of Master Sergeant Fraser Glenn Miller's playbook." Fraser Glenn Miller shot and killed 3 members of a Kansas Jewish community in 2014 because he wanted to kill some Jews before he died.
So yes, a lot of the hate will be from racists who don't want to see black people, period. Full stop. End of sentence.
You're in the wrong neighborhood. Get out. Get out. Where? You're harassing the neighborhood.
I'm not harassing anyone walking through the neighborhood I live in. So.
Where's your house? What's your address?
Maybe we should walk you home.
Walk away.
I'm walking. You keep following me, sir.
They don't want to see black people in their neighborhoods, at the store, and on their TV shows. And even though you've always been against racism, now you're over here in the comment section being called an intolerant racist by extremists on the other end of the spectrum. So now all of a sudden, it's a political issue, and the debate creates what's called a false dichotomy. A false dichotomy is when complex issues are erroneously framed as a simple choice between only 2 options. You're either with us or against us. There are no more choices. Pick one. Much like the American political system, where you have only left and right, you're not allowed to choose anything else. But if you're black and are against race swapping or gender swapping of your childhood memories, what does that make you? Yes, you could make the argument that it's their property and they can do whatever they want with it. But the only reason those characters are still around is because of public support. It's because the fans have spent so much of their time and money and energy on them that they are in a position of power right now. When famous people say, "I want to thank the fans because without them, I wouldn't be here today," we want to believe that they are sincere and that they really do feel that way, even though history has shown us that the opposite is true. But we still hope that our efforts are appreciated. So when they change the characters of commercial products that we love and adore, it kind of feels like a slap in the face of that sincerity when you say you valued us, the fans. So is it only racists who complain? Well, we, the general public, we have a long history of being opposed to changing items that we've become accustomed to. For instance, when they changed the flavor of Coca-Cola in 1985, the change was met with massive consumer backlash.
What about new Coke? Forbes magazine called it the blunder of the century.
The original formulas returned just 3 months later. In 2009, Tropicana orange juice changed their design to a modern squeeze top. Within 2 months, sales dropped by 20%, resulting in a loss of about $30 million, and they were forced to revert back to the original iconic packaging.
Sounds like a hailstorm. What? Right?
The same thing happened to Fritos, Old Spice, and many other brands. When Sonic's appearance was changed in the movie, fans were ready to riot. They soon changed the character to look more like the original classic Sonic. When Spielberg changed the guns in the movie E.T. to radios, or when George Lucas made major alterations to the original Star Wars trilogy, it was received negatively by critics and fans. All of these examples had nothing to do with racism or sexism. When people, the consumers, the ones who gave their support and handed over their money, when they become attached to products, brands, or stories, it becomes a part of their identity, their life experience. Old movies, series, and TV shows becomes a part of our past, our experiences, of what we've gone through. Just like the moon landing, or the fall of the Berlin Wall was for older generations, or 9/11, the death of Diana. Those events form part of who we are as a person, just like one of Batman's defining characteristics is the memory of going to the movies, specifically going to see the new Zorro movie. That movie is not just a fictional story to Bruce Wayne, it has become a core part of his identity. If they made Zorro into an Asian story that takes place in Japan, I'm sure it would have a measurable psychological effect on Bruce Wayne. That's why shows like The Simpsons and Family Guy and South Park run for many decades, because when a new episode comes out, it brings forth the feelings we had in our younger years when we first watched them.
Oh my God! They've killed Kenny! You bastards!
Before we got divorced. Twice. Watching it now connects us to the time before things got so complicated. It also helps us connect with the younger generations of fans. Like, I've always wondered what baby boomers watched when they were young, because they never talked about it. They just told us to get off their lawn and to pull up our pants. Maybe if they told us that they liked Bugs Bunny, maybe we could have had a conversation about that, you know? But if you made The Simpsons black in a new reboot, you would break that connection that all the fans still have, the connection to all those old memories.
What's up, Doc?
Scooter, how come we've never met you before?
Shut up, Meg.
This is a simple lie detector. I'll ask you a few yes or no questions, and you just answer truthfully. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you want ants? Because that's how you get ants.
We are our memories, and rituals, tradition, and culture connects us to our past. And when someone or some corporation tries to sever that connection to our past, to our childhood memories, whether it be with a new Coca-Cola bottle design, Fritos packaging, or by trying to gaslight us into believing that Wolverine was black this whole time, it has nothing to do with racism, sexism, or homophobia.
been in a lot of wars, bub. The brave always die first.
Logan. We're just gonna outwit LaFour's X-Men style.
Should I call you Logan, Weapon X?
No, Wolverine, snickety, snoring.
What he's doing is imitating Wolverine's berserker attack with his adamantium claws.
Never would have guessed.
You know those people who collect, like, Mickey Mouse or My Little Pony or Hot Wheels until they break a world record and then they are forced to open a museum? Turns out that most, or for many, the compulsion is linked to a time when they suffered either a great loss, like the death of a parent, or severe trauma, and that particular item made them feel better during that difficult time. So for them, Mickey Mouse is a way to summon that same feeling as a coping mechanism. We all do this in one way or another. Some of us eat a familiar brand of chocolate or hold on to old photos. Some of us watch Star Wars because it takes you back to a time when you felt that nothing else mattered. Because Santa brought you the new Beanie Baby, or Lego Star Wars, or whatever toy character you loved as a child. Maybe it was the Scooby-Doo DVD collection or Pokemon series. Maybe even Barney and Friends. But those fictional characters brought you feelings that you won't feel anymore during the grown-up years. It's important to hold on to that because that's what makes you human. That is the one thing that AI doesn't have: a childhood. Memories of childhood development and personal growth.
Jinkies!
Run! The other family we've chosen has 3 daughters. We're picking you because you have 3 sons.
But I'm not.
Shut up, Greg.
Have all the donuts in the world!
I don't understand it. James Coco went mad in 15 minutes.
Because I've swallowed just about as much as I can take from you!
Hey, phrasing!
But this threat of being branded a racist or a homophobe causes many to just remain silent and internalize those feelings, when all you wanted to express was that Shrek's story brought you great comfort in your younger years, and that you share those memories with friends, family, and loved ones, including the love of your life who sadly died of a stroke when she was barely a freshman in college. Shrek was there on your first date, making you both smile. All you wanted to say in the comments was that changing Shrek into a bisexual zombie, it would erode those memories that you hold on to. And it would cheapen those experiences by politicizing the story, by forcing people to choose sides. Now it feels like those times when Shrek helped you to overcome grief, heartache, and trauma during a time when you were abandoned, lonely, betrayed, cheated on, used, and then thrown away. The difficult times where you had to force yourself to get up and go to work even though you were so depressed that you could barely move. Those hard times when Shrek helped you overcome your depression. The moments that you found yourself smiling during depressive episodes because of Shrek, Donkey, and Fiona.
I like Shrek.
That was really scary.
Will now be just a distant memory. A memory that you avoid because you're being called racist and a bigot. So while it's easy for those who have no connection to the classic shows to dismiss the reactions of the older generations, there is a real sense of loss. A loss that only comes with age, when you outgrow the things you have grown to love. Like losing your youth, your first love, the loss of a pet, or maybe a parent. The list never ends because eventually, you will lose everything. And you never get used to it. So when we lose the characters and memories we associate with those stories, we knew that we would eventually have to let them go. We just didn't expect to lose them so abruptly. And now you're being called racist in the comments for saying that you don't want them to change Shrek into a character that you don't recognize as being Shrek. There's an old saying. It's not really my favorite saying, and I don't even remember exactly how it goes. But it's the only one that fits here. It's something like, if you have to force it, then it's probably shit.
Oh my God. He's shit everywhere. There's shit everywhere! Oh my God! My house is full of shit! Damn it! There's shit on the windows! He's shit everywhere!
The lesson being that human creativity works best if it's untamed, free. No great work of art is the result of external pressure and stress from being canceled if you don't add some black faces in the background. I don't know if you noticed that movies just don't feel the same anymore. Nothing inspires or excites you anymore like it used to, right? I remember when movie theaters used to report that audiences stood up and give a standing ovation after watching great films. That doesn't happen anymore. Instead of art, we now make entertainment, like old daytime soap operas that relied on cheap tricks and gimmicks, rather than move you with a great story, breathtaking visuals, and a score by John Williams. Those great ideas and breakthroughs often come when you stop focusing on the problem, like when you're on vacation or when you're at lunch or in bed, and then boom, the eureka moment hits you. That amazing idea just pops up out of nowhere because you didn't have a supervisor constantly riding your ass, making sure that you've added enough black people in your story. We can tell when art is forced. It feels soulless and uninspired, shallow even. It lacks emotion, passion, and depth. And this might be enough to entertain the masses, but progress comes from inspiration. Great leaders, visionaries, intellectuals need to be inspired. Those with the courage to change the system, those who are not afraid to challenge the way things are. We need strong leaders who can say fuck that to being safe and compliant. You know? People who are not afraid to think differently. Those who never stopped asking, why? Oh, you're offended? Why? Because my goal was not to offend you. Are you really hurt? If so, then I apologize from the bottom of my heart. But if you're just trying to push an agenda, can you please do that somewhere else? Because I'm actually trying to move us forward, you know, towards progress, as in the word progressive. You can't claim to be progressive if you are driven by hate. If your goal is to destroy anyone who questions your views and opinions. We already did that. In our history, it was known as, wait for it, the Dark Ages. And from the name alone, you can tell that it was not our proudest moment. It was a time when any form of free expression was judged as you're either with us or you will be canceled. Maybe if we had to lose our characters for an actual good cause, where it would actually do some good in the world, maybe then it would be easier to let them go. But this does absolutely nothing in our fight against racism. This is not what black people asked for. This is to make white people feel less guilty. It's symbolic so that white people can say,
"Come, look, we made Velma black for you. That means we are good people. Hashtag Black Lives Matter." And don't worry, every black person on screen will be very African from now on. We'll make sure of it, with the bushy hair and face and everything. Just for you. Are we woke now?
When rich white people at Disney treat people of color like fragile entities that need constant quote-unquote protection or constant representation in minor ways, it comes across more like these people need being looked after instead of let's be equal partners. Media companies are so obsessed with the aesthetic of blackness. Every black person must look very African and must have an afro for the cameras, ignoring the fact that African hair comes in all shapes and sizes, perpetuating the false belief that straight hair only comes from Europe. But it's almost as if they use visual representation as a distraction to avoid discussing the real systemic, economic, and social problems that actually affect our lives. Treating black adults as if they are children incapable of self-determination, making only a symbolic effort to be inclusive, especially by recruiting a small number of people from underrepresented groups, using them as mascots in order to give the appearance of sexual or racial equality. This kind of superficial support is done to alleviate white guilt, and not because they are devoted to the cause. It's treating a demographic like a protected species rather than human beings with diverse views and real-world struggles. You see, when white women tell you that you're brave, that's not a compliment. It means you are the disabled kids that they decided to make prom king and queen so that they can feel good about themselves. And now they have bragging rights. That's like street cred in upper-class circles. When they do woke right, meaning the woke is done correctly, it has the potential to become the next Mona Lisa, or the next Wizard of Oz, the next Alien, Schindler's List. You know what I mean? Could bring us the next major advancement in cinema history. A piece of art that can break through the current creative rut that we find ourselves in. Movies and series have become so predictable that we don't experience true wonder and awe anymore.
For the first time,
I'm always angry.
they made history.
Because within the current movie styles, almost every idea has already been done.
Now, get your noses in the carpet. My name is Jungle Pussy. This some set it off shit. That shit was brilliant.
You see, when woke is driven by authentic artistic vision,
about 12 G's. $12,000 in 60 seconds. Leo. TT. She ain't getting a cut. Look, Frank, I ain't for your shit tonight, all right? Fuck that! She didn't do nothing, so she ain't getting nothing. It ain't you I'm mad at. Sorry I was tripping. You're my girl. You are so special, Frankie.
Still ain't do shit.
when woke is driven by authentic artistic vision.
You son of a bitch!
Rather than just a quick cash grab based on trending hashtags or the latest buzzwords, that is when woke has produced some of the most impactful and most memorable moments in modern cinema history. real woke don't treat people like they are a bunch of entitled brats to shut up by showing some brown faces on screen. Like, here, have some brown faces. That'll shut up the mindless automatons on Facebook who were born without any significant brain power and behave and act exactly like the Russian bots they're interacting with because they can't think for themselves and absorb hashtags like their activation phrases for MK Ultra brainwashed hitmen.
Hashtag Raymond Shaw.
Pretty specific for a hypothetical.
Jesus fucking Christ. Are we happy to just throw in the towel and accept that the last great movies that came out of Hollywood was during the Harvey Weinstein era?
Classy pictures like The Piano or The Crying Game.
Once they made She's All That, everything went to hell.
The woke characters that stand out in our minds. The ones who made the world realize that black people were more than the stereotypes that have prevailed in the past, are the characters that just naturally fit into the story, without trying to make some sort of political statement with the color of their skin. Characters that weren't forced in to represent a movement or to shut up the online trolls. Or, like in this case, just slapped with a brown paintbrush while ignoring the struggles that people of color, women, and the LGBTQ actually faced in 1947. Characters that moved us forward as a society towards progress are characters like, you should know these characters already because they made a real impact in our collective psyche. There's just too much to go into. But very quickly, Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction.
I do love the taste of a good burger. You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in France?
Royale with cheese.
You know why they call it that?
Because of the metric system?
Brad! You're a smart motherfucker, that's right. The metric system. You, flock of seagulls. You know why we're here?
It's over there.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing. You were saying?
It's in the cupboard. No, the one by your knees.
We happy?
Yeah, we happy. We got into this thing with the best intentions, really. I never...
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration? Please, continue. What's the matter? Oh, you were finished. Oh, well, allow me to retort. What does Marcellus Wallace look like?
What?
What country you from? What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what?
What?
English, motherfucker. Do you speak it?
Yes.
Describe what Marcellus Wallace looks like.
What?
Say what again? I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
He's black.
Does he look like a bitch?
What?
Does he look like a bitch? No! How you try to fuck him like a bitch, Brett?
He did.
You tried to fuck him. You read the Bible, Brett.
Yes.
Ezekiel 25:17. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. Marvin. I'd knock that shit off if I was you.
Die, you motherfucker!
Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon.
Daddy's your partner?
Martin Riggs.
Hi, how are you?
This is my wife, Trish. Martin's gonna join us for dinner.
Toast okay with you?
What's for dinner? You want something to drink, Martin?
Well, what do you got?
You like Canadian Mist? Canadian Mist in the back. Canadian Mist in the back.
Fishing with a snorkel. Spearfishing. Didn't catch anything much but a cold.
I got that big old bounty and the dessert.
Get the dessert.
Come on.
But it's nice fish.
Mr. Riggs, would you like that tart?
Thank you, yeah. Call me Martin.
Martin.
Listen, Mr. Riggs. Sit down. Daughter.
My name is Carrie. I'm no fairy. My sister's Sherry. She's in love with this guy named
Carrie! Dad, why don't you try it? You know, yeah, there you go.
Because my name is Roger, and I need to be Roger, and a hooter, hotter.
You need some help.
I am It's just a matter of time.
Aaliyah in that Jet Li movie. What's it called?
If a girl's kicking your ass, you do not have to be a giant.
May she rest in peace. So many fans and admirers still miss her and keep her memory alive. Sanaa Lathan forms an alliance with a predator to take down a swarm of aliens in Alien vs. Predator.
So smart, huh, bitch?
Freddy!
How sweet.
Kelly Rowland's character in Freddy vs. Jason is noted for not being afraid of the horror icons and famously taunting Freddy about his sweater.
So you're the one everyone's afraid of? What kind of faggot runs around in a Christmas sweater?
I really didn't want her to die.
I mean, you're not even scary.
In the movie.
And let's talk about the button. You trying to compensate for something?
And also in real life.
Short there between the legs.
But her character ends up sacrificing herself so that her friends can live. And Jurassic Park 2, Jeff Goldblum's daughter was such a great addition to an all-star cast.
Big smoke pillow. You start.
Who started a fire?
I just wanted to make dinner. Want it ready when you guys got back.
Do you see any family resemblance here?
She really held her own alongside major stars like Susan Sarandon and Vince Vaughn.
Practically told me to come here. You said to me, don't listen to me.
You have no idea.
Do? Lock her up for curiosity? Where do you think she gets it?
Thank you, Sarah.
Hey, don't start the teaming up thing.
With Jurassic Park, really, it seems like they only go woke with every second movie, right? But the franchise as a whole has done a really good job in showcasing diverse characters that don't come across as forced. Other quick mentions are Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Justice League Unlimited, I Am Legend. The dog really did a great job representing canines in that.
It was like Abby spoke English. You could say, hey, Abby, did you see where I left my phone? She goes, like she literally could understand you. It was the weirdest thing. Nights where we have to do this scene where I choke her out and she lays. Abby's doing that. How do you train a dog to go limp? And she would bite. And he would say, Abby, die. And she would, it's like working with a brilliant actress.
Oh, you thought I was talking about Will Smith's character? Nah, the real star of that movie was Samantha. Will Smith did Independence Day.
Ah! That's right! That's right! That's what you get! Who's the man? Huh? Who's the man?
Welcome to Earth. That's what I call a close encounter.
And also Jordan Peele's Get Out and Us.
That's a classic right there.
Doesn't feel like it's just woke characters that were forced into a story written for white characters.
What's a bad miracle?
These stories work because they don't try to appease everyone by not being offensive, specifically to a white audience.
What you want, nigga? Here to take his daughter out. You taking Megan out? How old is you? 15. Shit, nigga, you at least 30. In the street. Why you putting up? I just got out of jail and I ain't going back. Have my daughter home at 10:01. Bang, bang, nigga. That's what it's gonna be.
Reggie, baby, I am so sorry. Please forgive Megan's dad and his silly friend.
There ain't gonna be no f***ing that night.
You guys have a good time.
You ever made love to a man? No. You want to?
Their race and culture are an essential part of their identity. And just like their white counterparts, their characters were allowed to bring their culture and heritage to the screen. They're also allowed to be imperfect, messy, flawed, sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes mundane.
What is this? Is this the end of times? No, I'm serious. I've done some bad things in my life, man.
Oh, I get it. You saw hell yesterday, now you scared of going to hell for all the bad things you've done. I tell you what, go in the stall, say 5 Hail Marys, wipe your ass, and you and God can call it even.
But they are human.
You know that I'm down, bipartisan. When we was in bed together, girl.
You slept with him, you slut! But no!
We call us sin, sin.
Well, around here, we call this here a little twin.
Wow.
Nigga.
Why don't you just give him a little bit for my cat?
Father was an exceptional man, and he was born in 1938. The #1 song was Shortening Bread. Mama's little baby love shortening. Mama little baby love shortening.
While at the same time not treating their race as their only defining trait. Part of the problem is that greedy corporations don't want to invest in genuine artistic vision these days because it doesn't make enough profit. When people are willing to keep paying for the same crap over and over, it becomes a safe investment. It is rare nowadays to find new concepts that challenges our views and perceptions, what we used to call being edgy. Tarantino, Ridley Scott, Spielberg, those were guys who had vision. They weren't afraid to explore concepts that had never been done before. They weren't counting the number of black people post-production to make sure that they meet a quota. But they did have black characters, yes? That was because of the natural progression of our society at the time. Workplaces, towns, cities were becoming more diverse, so it made sense that artistic visions changed with it. It was natural. They weren't being threatened to add black faces in the background or risk being canceled. Art, media, and entertainment is a reflection of the world around us. When only white people had the good jobs, that's what we saw in movies of the era. When things changed, we saw that same change in the movies and TV shows of the time. For example, did you know that the Flintstones showed the very first animated characters, a man and woman seen sleeping in the same bed? Before that, it was considered scandalous to show a man and woman sharing a bed, even if they were just sleeping. That was the attitude of the time period, which was perfectly depicted in the art of the same period. Showing people of color and gays just out and about having a jolly old time in America in the 1940s is like, imagine if they made a cartoon show set in Germany in the 40s with Jewish people out and about having a jolly old time. Why am I picturing a Holocaust musical with Muppets? Or showing South Africa without apartheid, India without the Hindu-Muslim conflicts, no Rwandan conflicts, no Rohingya persecution in Myanmar, or we just pretend that there was no genocide and ethnic cleansing in Bosnia, that they lived in harmony since forever. You see, when people get upset over race swapping, most of the time it's not that they're racist, it's because it feels like you're trying to rewrite history. So what if King Arthur didn't really exist? I preempted your "but these are fictional characters" argument. Yes, Papa Smurf is the King Arthur of our generation. His stories will live on in myth and legend. We hate it when they turn indigenous characters into white people, right? Or even insinuate it, like the Queen of Africa was a white woman. So then why are we doing it, but with black people this time? If you want to have the moral high ground, you shouldn't be doing the same thing that you claim it hurt you. Now you want to do the same thing to others. Like the great Nelson Mandela did when he became the president. He will forever be remembered as a legendary great man because of it. But why have we stopped creating original stories anyway? Are there really no creative geniuses anymore? We can't keep riding on the popularity of white characters created for a white audience by white guys. Can we really not build decent black characters and black stories from the ground up? If we cannot, then maybe we haven't really solved the issue of racism yet, and maybe we should stop pretending that we did solve issues like discrimination, exclusion, bullying, by trying to convince the next generation that Wolverine was black this whole time. Isn't that called gaslighting or something? And while we are on the topic, if you want to cancel 80s kids for Mr. T, then you don't know the 80s. Mr. T was such a huge milestone in the fight for black recognition and black rights. Let me explain. For hundreds of years, black kids around the world wished that they were the white guy, even if you've never seen an actual white person in your life. But kids everywhere wanted to be Dirty Harry or He-Man or Spider-Man. But when Mr. T arrived on screen, for the first time ever, white kids wanted to be the black guy of the team. And not ironically.
We're gonna be like the A-team, and I is B.A. Baraka. I wanna be B.A. Baracus. But I is very much like it. I ain't getting no plane. I ain't getting on no plane. Look, it's gold. I ain't getting no plane. I wanna see that kid there. I ain't getting on no plane. That's James Brown. You'll be Murdoch.
If the kids in Stranger Things had been talking about the A-team...
I'm Venkman, Dustin Stans, you're Egon, and you're Winston. No one wants to be Winston, man. He's so cool.
Then you be Winston.
I can't.
Why not?
Because you're not black. I didn't say that.
If the kids in Stranger Things had been talking about the A-team, that would have been a whole different conversation, because B.A. Baracus was the strong one out of the group. The muscle. And in the 80s, somehow it was everyone's dream to be able to beat people up.
What's going on? Will somebody please tell me what's going on?
You lied to me.
Probably because there were so many bullies around.
Now, take it easy, B.A.
But it was a time where physical strength was desired.
Why'd he hit you?
If he hit me, I'd be in the hospital.
And role models were, well, naked men. That's right. We loved playing with dolls of nude men with huge muscles. The reason that black Barbie still does not sell as well as white Barbie is, well, I don't know. But it tells you that there's still a lot of work to do in changing the global perception of white superiority and Caucasian standards of beauty. Because it's not just white people who think that way.
When you see yourself in the mirror, what do you see? Do you see a Chinese girl, an Indian girl, or an indigenous woman? So, are you satisfied with your appearance?
Well, I see myself a bit on the dark side.
Would you like to be white?
Yes.
Yeah?
That answer is true.
This is a true story. I remember it so clearly because I remember thinking, that sounds fake. But I was also thinking, oh my God, what if it's real? When I was in the 3rd grade, or 2nd grade, we had just returned from school holiday, and there was this one kid that was known for telling stories that were, less than factual. Let's just say that he had a hard time differentiating between real events and imagination. This kid was telling us about his holiday, about how his family went to some island and where he had undergone some kind of skin treatment that turned his skin white for a few days. And kids were like, wow. Of course it was bullcrap. But 7-year-old me, at the time, I was intrigued. And I found myself imagining what it would be like to actually be white, even if just for a day. So much so that I found myself dreaming that I was a white kid. At the time, the Wonder Years was popular, so that's what I pictured being white was like. That and the never-ending story. But now I know that even if I were white, I'd probably still be the target of bullies. But I get it. When people think that being white would be better, the fantasy is more about being someone else. Someone who's not going through the struggles you're facing in your own personal life.
Would you like to be white?
Yes.
Sorry to be the one to have to tell you, but forcing this very specific stereotype is not going to change that. I said it before. If you try and force the issue, all you're going to get is resistance, riots, revolt, pushback, and rejection. People are so diverse and unpredictable and chaotic in nature. They act almost like non-Newtonian fluid. If you strike hard, you will get a lot of instant resistance. If you want to penetrate, you have to go slow and be non-invasive. That's why cults don't force the crazy ideas on you the first day, because you'll just storm out.
Let's do this! Now just cut off your penises and throw them into the sun.
Okie dokie.
Just look at our history. Marijuana was banned in the 40s. It never went away. How many lives were destroyed because of that ban? It took almost 100 years for it to become legal. They didn't fight hard for it to be legal. They didn't try to force it down everyone's throat. They didn't resort to threats and bombs and violence for it to become legal. It just naturally flowed that way. The ban just created division, discrimination, and hate. Now you have become the one on the other side, the man.
And white and entitled.
The big scary man who wants to cancel 13-year-olds who used the N-word, when it's clear they did not use it as a pejorative. Young kids have always been emulating black culture without being able to grasp the true significance of what they are saying.
Bush isn't easy. I was just down in the SPC kicking it with some G's on the west side. You live on the east side, Cartman. You know what I'm saying? G, check the left.
What the fudge are you doing?
Laying down some rhymes for G-Fuck, you know what I'm saying?
Get in here!
West side.
When are you gonna do something with your life?
I got a dream.
What is your dream?
To have a dream.
And now, this stupid hip-hop thing.
You just hate me because I'm black.
And me and guys just down here checking out some fly rides and macking some holes and chilling.
Imagine that. It's like a G-dog on a fly tip, flossing with the pussy, cutting in the crib. What the fuck does that mean?
Man, I will beat your ass.
2 words. Keep it real.
That's 3 words.
It ain't a real word. It's short for innit.
The member for Staines will be banned from the House.
Is it because I'm black?
That doesn't make them a racist, but they are on the precipice. They can either be educated about black history and the struggles of the past, or they could accompany a friend to a white nationalist rally disguised as youth group game night. Remember the alcohol prohibition? Yeah, that was a massive train wreck where the government added poison to alcohol knowing that people will die. It didn't stop people from drinking alcohol. How many people today have stopped drinking because of an alcohol ban? And COVID-19, they tried forcing people to wear masks and they went full QAnon. Black Barbie came out in, was it the 80s? I think it was the 1980s, or early 90s, but it never sold well. Same issue. You can't just do a huge bait and switch in our society and then wish for the best. You have to ease people into it. So just making a bunch of black dolls and putting it out there for kids to choose did not work. And 30 years later, kids still hate it. See, if you made a tanning salon Barbie in the 80s, whose color changed when you put her in the sun, and slowly worked your way up to like Mediterranean Barbie with olive tone skin, Spanish Barbie, you know, and then the J-Lo Barbie, and then the next year you did Pocahontas Barbie, and then the Vivica A. Fox Barbie, then it won't be such a shock to the system. But instead, you just went full woke Barbie, and now kids hate Black Barbie forever. The same thing's happening in movies now. Woke Hollywood is doing a Black Barbie on screen by forcing this borderline offensive Black African stereotype and then hoping that little kids are going to pick the black doll.
Which doll is the pretty doll? The nice doll? Which doll is the bad doll? Which doll is the nice doll? And which doll is the bad doll?
The problem with the doll itself is that you just slapped on some blackface. To show that black is beautiful, you need to put in the work, just like white people have done for thousands of years. Go back through all of human history. The formula is staring you in the face. Thinking that forcing a Hillary Clinton on us, you think you've won by bullying us into accepting your views? Well, sorry, it doesn't work that way. When you force your views, and force it so, what's the word? Forcefully? That's terrible writing, but you know what I mean. If you force it on us with no lube and no foreplay, then you're kind of a dick. Yes, we want equality and diversity and gay rights and wokeness, but not if you are constantly trying to shove it in our face and demanding that we kiss it. Like, dude, we're having dinner. I'll kiss it later when I'm ready, you know? It's not like we don't want to kiss it, but come on, man. It's just constant, non-stop, never-ending. Put your woke away and let's just cuddle tonight. It's like that's all you want from us now. Whipping your woke out, demanding that we kiss it. I have other shit to do as well. Whatever happened to save the whales, save the rainforest? It's like you're constantly just focused on black, trans, and feminist issues. Like that's your whole world now. I said it before, stop forcing it because all you've done is force people to push back. Before woke, the number of people that belonged to neo-Nazi groups were on a steady decline. Hate crimes were so rare that it made front-page news. Now, but the irony here is that in an attempt to be inclusive, these companies are actually being reductive. They end up creating strict rules for how an African person is supposed to look, which is just another form of control. By forcing this very specific African look, they are actually denying the diversity and history of African people, effectively making white people the gatekeepers of what a quote-unquote authentic black person is supposed to look like. When you over-curate how black people appear in backgrounds of movies, you aren't empowering us, you're just decorating your own environment to feel better about yourself. It feels like a form of moral signaling meant to quiet a guilty conscience. It's treating a demographic like a protected species rather than human beings with real-world struggles. If you want the world to see black beauty, then go find it. Don't force it to be what you want it to be. Appreciate it for what it is, and only then put it on screen for the world to see and appreciate. That is how you change the global perception of black beauty, not like this. But overall, The Woke Batman is not a bad series. It's refreshing to see Batman so vulnerable, needing to be saved by a woman every time. In the 40s, when women weren't even allowed to wear pants yet. But The Woke is so obvious, it's such a distraction because it's so blatantly clear what's happening and why that decision was made. And yet the gesture is so meaningless and empty that at some point it just becomes pathetic. And now even I'm yelling at the screen trying to warn black people and gay people to run, there are white folks coming, and then nothing happens. Amazingly, I did catch a brief moment of misogyny, which very briefly does take you back to the 1940s, 1950s.
But her, you really think the men are gonna take orders from that? I expect my. You really think the men are gonna take orders from that? I expect my.
The historical inaccuracies, like no segregation, no racial inequality, gays kissing in public without any gay bashing, apart from that, there's also the technological inaccuracies. For example, live news coverage and live TV interviews were not a thing yet. Someone had to carry around a camera this big, and with the cable running through the whole town all the way to the studio. In the 50s, when Elvis and Buddy Holly wanted to be on TV, they had to travel to the TV studio to perform there, remember? They didn't flash titties during halftime shows at the Super Bowl. That only came much later. There were no CNN-style news programs in the 40s. They were still shouting, "Extra, extra," because newspapers were the main source of news.
Extra! Me and Aunt Playboy in trouble again! Extra! Extra, extra! Read all about it!
By mid-1940s, families used to gather by the wireless to hear the local news. And this is what the first stun gun looked like in the 70s. Or was it the 80s? And the cops couldn't even catch Batman when all they had to do was ask the guys at the Ford company, who the hell built a bulletproof bat car? In the 40s, that would have been like building a spaceship, and there were only 2 companies in the world capable of building it. Like Mercedes built a bulletproof car for Hitler, and because they haven't invented Kevlar yet, they had to use 18mm steel plating and glass that was 5 centimeters thick. This increased the weight of the car to more than 4 tons. Hitler's car had to be fitted with a special engine to pull that weight, and it moved incredibly slowly. So it was more of a tank than a Batmobile. Today, they could do it with synthetic polymers and ceramic infused with Kevlar, but in olden times, they only used steel. So speeding through a roadblock, that's not going to happen. And then there's the micro-sized listening device. Earpods were invented in 2016. It took that long because battery technology had to be invented that can fit inside a device that small.
I know you're still listening. We're not done, you and me.
And don't even get me started on radio signals. There was no Wi-Fi in the 40s. There wasn't even Wi-Fi in the 90s. There's just so much wrong with this show that it's distracting. Young people will watch this and say, look, it wasn't that bad, not realizing that Rosa Parks was still being told to sit at the back of the bus when she was arrested in December 1955. In the 1940s, black and gay people globally faced severe systemic oppression, with the decade marking the dawn of apartheid in South Africa in 1948. In 1944, George Stinney Jr., a 14-year-old African-American boy, was playing in their front yard with his sister when 2 white girls approached them and asked where they could find a certain type of flower. Neither George nor his sister knew, so the girls moved along. That evening, when both girls failed to return home, a search party was formed. George and his family joined the search. That's when he mentioned to someone that he had seen the girls earlier in the day. The next morning, after the bodies were found, George was arrested and charged. The police say that he confessed, but there was no footage or recording of the confession. At the trial, George wasn't allowed to see his family. African Americans were not allowed to enter the segregated courthouse. The lawyer that George had made no effort to defend him and did not call any witnesses in his defense. And after just 10 minutes of deliberation, an all-white jury sentenced George to death. He was convicted and executed in South Carolina's electric chair in less than 3 months. Despite the absence of any physical evidence, newspapers reported that guards had trouble getting George strapped into the chair because he was just a small child. And when they turned it on, when 2,400 volts surged through his body, the oversized mask placed on his face slipped, exposing his face to the crowd of reporters. They wrote that tears were streaming from his frightened eyes. George Stinney remains the youngest recorded person executed in the United States. His conviction was vacated in 2014, stating a lack of evidence and that his lawyer failed to mount a defense. That was the reality of the 1940s. Black people were subjected to brutal acts of violence, including being set on fire, and even though everyone knows who did it, the police would choose to do nothing about it. Lynchings continued into the 1940s and the 1950s. Now, to be honest, I didn't give a fuck when they first started race swapping. I was in the comments telling people that they were racist for complaining, even though I have to admit that I was not 100% fine. Inside, I felt uneasy about it, and I told myself that maybe this will be good for black people, especially young kids. When they made April O'Neil black, I was like, I think I threw up in my mouth just a little bit. The whole thing made me really uncomfortable, a knot in my stomach, unsettled, like a sudden sense of dread. But still, I said nothing. I tried not to think about it and avoided making any comments about it. I'm not gonna lie, when they did it to Velma, that was the one that made me sad. Not fully depressed, but close. It felt like, you know, like when your crush gets married to someone else. It felt like that. But still, I tried being supportive by not openly saying that I hated it. But then, a few years later, and I'm watching the new Batman. Okay, now it's just getting annoying. With every scene, I can see exactly what's going on, why they made those choices, why they put a black man over there. This is so obvious. Like, how can I describe this? Okay, you know when I have to be careful because language has changed so much now and I don't want to offend anyone. But it's like, imagine you're in class, in school, and there's a new student. Not just any student, but a student who has difficulties. You know what I mean? Someone with a disability. Okay, picture like a little person. You can't say the M word anymore. I mean, not unless you're on OnlyFans, which I'm not. Well, only because I can't afford it. But anyway, there's a small person in your class, a student. And every 10 minutes there's this group who's like, "Are you okay? Can we get you anything? Do you want me to help you with that? Can I explain this to you? Do you want me to read the textbook to you? It's fine. You don't need to reply. I'll just read to you anyways. You are a beautiful person. I wish I had a child who is also a little person, because there's nothing wrong with you. Here, let me help you get in your seat." And you can tell that this person is thinking, "Bitch, I can do that shit myself. and this other person is just smothering him, treating him like a baby, you know? Feeding him with a spoon, like he's a puppy or something. That's what it feels like now. White people are trying to force this woke thing to, what? To help black people? You think this is help? Really? Then why are there still a majority of black people living over there in the poor neighborhood? Why are you showing me black faces on screen living in a world that is free from racism? But you don't want to use your white wealth to help black people get better housing, better opportunities, pay for their education, help them finish college. Send your expensive lawyers to go help at the Innocence Project. Now, I didn't mean to imply that black people are like midgets. Shit, I mean, little people. The other example I was thinking of is when that white teenage girl was kidnapped by the guy who shot her parents. She managed to get away after a few days and called the police. But before she returned to school, Elizabeth Smart went to her school to talk to the students about how to interact with her because she was still dealing with the trauma of losing her parents. She's now famous for being a victim. She didn't ask for that. What Elizabeth Smart told the kids at that school was not to try and hug her or try to treat her in an overprotective way. If you were not friends with her before, then don't try to approach her or ask if she's okay. Just be normal and be like you were before the incident. Talk to her only if she talks to you first. Don't stare or make a big deal of her being a victim. And don't do that thing where everyone goes silent when she walks in. Just let her be her normal self and don't be weird. When white guilt makes you act weird, it makes everyone uncomfortable. When we said diversity, we didn't mean this. Even black people find it pathetic. Well, at least intelligent black people. Some black people just want to annoy white people, so that's why they support it. The dumb ones. And speaking of diversity, it's like white guilt will get white people to do these meaningless gestures, everything, instead of giving back the money that was built on slavery, right? When white people tried to be woke by having a day of mourning for George Floyd, instead of actually raising the standard of living for black people, that's when woke went from being plugged in the loop, being hip, switched on, savvy, a bit of all right, in the know, and on the ball. To get with the beat, Daddy-O, you dig? Getting down on the panty line.
Okay, now you're just making shit up.
Oh, yeah, that's Pootie Tang. But that is how woke became a laughingstock. It might as well be Pootie Tang.
That you gotta. She on business. She on business.
Cut the business, you got shit twisted. What is it, the brain feeling she on work with? Okay, and I see two of them kissing and hugging.
Oh, you support Black Lives Matter? Name every black person.
The diversity of genetics is probably what made Africa more resistant to COVID-19, just like there are a lot of Africans that are totally immune to HIV and nobody talks about it, and where you have like white kids who will die if they get stung by a bee or if they eat peanut butter or shellfish or milk or gluten. Asians, on the other hand, they live to about 110 years old. So those people who say that interracial relationships is like genocide are complete morons. Everyone knows the more inbred you are, the more susceptible you are to disease. The more genetic variation in a population, the stronger your chances of survival. To the white nationalists who want to start a whites-only community in the desert, I say let them. In a few hundred years, it'll probably turn into the hills have eyes out there. In fact, we should banish any and all violent people, regardless of their race, because prison is such a stupid and barbaric system. I don't know how this got so far off topic, but that topic will be in another video. The morality of the justice system. Bringing it back on topic, we all benefit when we share with each other, whether it be knowledge, experience, our culture, traditions, scientific discoveries, and even our genetics, if you know what I mean. What's happening now is that black people are on the precipice. They're reaching the tip of the... What's a word for the point of no return? Like the peak or the tipping point. The point where black people have to decide, are we going to accept the other races and live in harmony? Or are we going to go the exact polar opposite and persecute white people, thereby becoming the oppressors, the racists, the colonizers? Are we going to take all of black history and use it as an excuse to become evil? Or are we going to keep on presenting it as an example of unimaginable cruelty that must never be repeated? What's concerning is that some young black people are trying to tip the scale in the wrong direction. Now that they have some degree of power, they want to use it to lash out and attack white people, while white women are willing to overlook obvious racial attacks, outbursts, and wrongdoing by some black people because of white guilt, just like they have with the LGBTQ. Like, we get it, we've treated them bad in the past, but that doesn't mean that they should get diplomatic immunity from all crime. Like, he's gay. He's not developmentally challenged. When he acts like a hateful asshole, he should be called out on it. But people be acting like he's little Timmy. Whatever he says goes. This is what you need to consider. Being a victim does not automatically make you an angel. When a person has been hurt, they will carry the pain with them, and sometimes it can lead to them hurting others. Not always, but often enough that we can't pretend that it doesn't happen. So yes, we should acknowledge that our society has treated him bad, and we should acknowledge the pain we have caused him in the past. But the moment that pain leads to the harm of others, that is when we cannot allow our sympathy to cloud our judgment. At present, black people are also allowed to engage in behaviors that would otherwise be considered questionable, largely because everyone sees them as a permanent victim, which can come across as condescending and possibly even degrading. That's like if I was a victim of being bullied and you feel sorry for me. At first it would be, well, heartwarming, endearing, but then one day I become the bully and start hurting others, and then you say, "Oh, he's a victim, he can't help it, leave him alone." For me, personally, that's not respect. That's like saying that you don't believe that I can meet our standards. That means you don't see me as an equal.
You're racist, Bunny.
Black people can't be racist. I agree. Racism is prejudice plus power. But we can be jerks. I give you that.
It's an illness, son. I have to admit that I'm powerless to this terrible disease.
Stop now.
I can't, I'm sick! Stan! Stan!
Aw, God damn it!
I've got to try to take it easy from now on, son. This disease is just eating me up! I'm afraid the only thing that will cure me is a miracle.
All because of a hairstyle.
It's actually crazy. You wanted to start it. Not your braids are ugly. I'm still saying it. Still gonna say it's ugly. My opinion.